Welcome back to the Near Spiritual Awakening podcast with Dr. Val. This is episode 3, and I have got one of the best podcasters, or my favorite ones at least, Nereeda McInnes with us today. Welcome to the show.
Oh, Val, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be on your show. This is awesome. I'm so excited that you're starting a podcast. It's amazing.
Me too, and I'm even more excited that we got this to work and that we are talking and not lagging and we can hear each other. I'm grateful. Talk about practicing gratitude. I'm fucking grateful.
I'm with you, woman.
All right, good. Okay, good. All right. Well, listen, again, welcome to the show and to all the listeners out there. I love this woman. Just so you know, she has one of the best podcasts out there, the Ripple podcast. I listened to it nonstop for like a year, I think, or whenever I discovered you. And every episode was just amazing. So I was like, I have to have you on the show, obviously. But I also want to get to know you like a little better, get to know about your near spiritual awakening or whatever you want to call it for yourself. Because I was just thinking that for each of us, the process is so different, really, really different. So I'd love to hear your story. And that's why I invited you, in addition to the fact that I love you. But yeah.
Love you too, mate. You're a bloody champion. So
Hmm.
no, well, far out. So thanks for having me. It's been such a journey, and yes, I had the Rock the Ripple podcast, and that sort of came out of really wanting to have conversations with people. It started off on my own, and then I had this like full insight and download. I knew that I was going to be talking to people, and then it just sort of snowballed from there. And then 101 episodes later, it was a big chapter, and I'm so stoked that I got to do it. I've met so many amazing people, which is just awesome. So and you have been one of them, obviously. So there you go. But yeah, I guess like my story when it comes to my awakening journey, it's been a really long drawn out one for me. And I think, you and I, we've done numerology as well. We're both master numbers, very similar numbers with different flavors. So we've had a lot of challenges and hurdles along the way. And a lot of the stuff that sort of for me, like it's been an unraveling is what I sort of say. And for my awakening as to what's going on in the world, it sort of kicked off sort of as a youngster, but really when 9/11 happened, and I sort of started looking at that and thinking, oh, that's a sort of a crazy thing to go on. I feel like that's an inside job. And then but then I did life, and I didn't really think about it too much, and started to do personal development and doing all that sort of stuff. And it's been such the journey, and slowly unraveling. And you know how some people just have this like big aha moment, and then everything just goes bing, and they just sort of know everything all at once. Well, for me, it wasn't like that. It was just one thing after another, and that's what it's had to be. Like I feel like like you just said, everyone's journey is different. And for me, I'm really grateful I stepped into that personal development arena. That for me was so exciting. I didn't know when I first started looking at it many, many years ago. I didn't know that I could have goals. I didn't know that it was okay to want something more. And so that might sound really simple, but for me, that was a massive revelation. It was like, oh, I can set goals. I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to have more of a vision. And so, yeah, it just sort of unraveled from there, and yeah, just went along. I don't know if I'm making any sense now that
No,
we've been looking at all this tech and my brain's not working again.
that's fine. No, it makes complete sense. And it does sound like it was a very, as you say, gradual process rather than, you went through some near death experience and saw some shit that you've never seen before. Or like, my one where I did the ayahuasca journey and I was like, all right, there's shit out there that I knew was out there, but now I fucking know for sure is out there, right? And it was really like black and white, right? Whereas what you're saying, it was like, it was more of a flow. There was a flow and maybe like a compounding to it rather than I know kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too, like
Mm.
once some things started to really click in, then it sped up like crazy. And then I went down any rabbit hole you could possibly think of. And I know I haven't been down every single one because it's an infinite reality, but of course I was just like everything. And then I wanted to know every healing modality. And then I wanted to know just like everything that was going on underground. I wanted to know what's going out there. And it was just, there was just so much that I became immersed in it. And I think that was really exciting time as well too, but also quite lonely because there weren't a lot of people that were looking at this sort of stuff. So to have those conversations with people was just it was really hard because there weren't that many people that were looking into it. So but I think a lot of people can relate to that too when you start to wake up and see things a lot clearer. And I mean, things start to make sense. The world starts to make way more sense. But yeah, when you've got no one to sort of share it with, they think you might be going loopy, but you know, when really you're going sane in an insane world. So,
Yes, 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 yes. And it's so good that you say it. In a moment, I'll ask you to kind of give me the specifics, and you'll
Oi.
share as much as you like, obviously. But I think in a way we're undergoing awakenings, or different layers of awakenings, or maybe different kinds of awakenings where it's as you say, it's like stepping into a new world that you have never been in before. And yeah, it's lonely at first, and then you kind of find your grounding, you find your people, and then you realize, oh, I'm new to this. This stuff has been happening for a while, right? And then you have another awakening, like in whatever sense, right? Um, that's kind of what I got from what you said. So I just wanted to elaborate that for our listeners. But also, look, the intention of this podcast is really to facilitate the awakening process of all people, whatever that means for you. If you're listening, you're like, oh, I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, or maybe you're like, I'm woke. I am woke. Okay. Which sometimes I'm like, I'm woke. And then I speak to a person. I'm like, I'm asleep, but, give me some juicy details on maybe like an example, you know what I mean? So somebody can hear it and be like, oh, wow, I'm there or I'm not there. Or maybe this is what's happening to me. Like maybe one or two. Yeah.
Mm. Of like the rabbit holes that I've gone down or just,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Either the rabbit holes or things that you didn't know were happening are now happening that you're present to and aware of, like
Mm.
stuff like that. Something. So just, yes, maybe give us an example if you can.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I mean, oh, where do you start? I used to listen. I like the Secret Space program. That's one of them, and jump rooms and time travel and all that sort of stuff. I loved getting into that. I still will. I love listening to all of that stuff. And there's I love that's why I talked to Tyler and Aaron from Journey to Truth podcast on my show a couple of times. They've always talking to different people, talking about those sort of things. There's people who've had experiences called 20 and back where they, they had their consciousness like somewhere else for 20 years, but they were here for the same amount of time, but they went away off planet kind of thing, like, which is totally crazy, but not at the same time. And then, some of the toughest stuff, which is the hardest stuff to speak to people, is the SRA stuff, so satanic ritual abuse, because that is something that is going on and has been going on for millennia. And I think it is so tough to talk about to someone who may not have heard about it before because it seems so far out. And the reason is because your cognitive dissonance is being challenged, and you don't want to think that these horrible things are going on. But at the same time, these things have always been going on. But because our consciousness as a collective is raising, then this sort of stuff is coming to the surface. So people are seeing it, they're hearing it, and they're understanding that it's going on. It's going on right now. And so the more people that are aware of it, we're able to shift and be able to help those children, those people that are stuck in those terrible situations, and see, that there is a big network of stuff going on, that, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then you might be thinking, well, shit, what the hell do I do? Like, and that's when it comes back to self and comes back to us knowing that everything begins within. So when we do the work on ourselves, when we shift within, when we do the personal development work, the loving ourselves, the giving ourselves what we may not have got as a child, and things like that, when we start doing that for ourselves, that is literally shifting consciousness, and that is helping the bigger picture. And I think that's probably why I'm so passionate about the work that I do, is because I know that that all starts within. So yes, there's all these crazy secret space programs and ETs, and there's like this terrible stuff going on underground and in plain sight. But what can we do about it? That's what I like to bring it back to. So depending on where your listener is at, like they may have heard about this stuff and they're all over it, or they may not have.
Mm.
And it's not to be, if you haven't, especially not to be frightened of it, but use it as a tool for empowerment. To go, okay, there's stuff that I didn't know that was going on. Okay, great. What can I do about it? And not let it overwhelm you either. I know I went on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah.
No, I think it's all part of the same question, the same theme, really, is the awakening process, and this is
Mm.
just something that well, at some point we're not woke to, and then you were, just like myself. I could tell you the moment for that was like when I heard Max Sloan's interview with Georgina Grace, and she, obviously, I'm
Mm.
neuroscientifically inclined. Max Sloan's a psychologist, and she starts talking about, satanic ritual abuse and babies being eaten and all, and I was like, what? What? Like, and then of course,
Yeah.
I dove down that rabbit hole, and it all makes, I'm not an expert in the field by any means, and I will have, experts in that field on this podcast so they can really create for us the world of that, so that we're really attuned and aware to and no longer asleep. Because yeah, that shit's happening. It's rampant, and it is definitely happening. So if you weren't aware of that, this is your wake up call or awakening to that. Welcome to that world. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, those guys to me, like Rachel Vaughn, Jeanette Archer, Max Lowen, oh, what's her name? Annika Lucas, Kathy O'Brien. There are so many. And I know I watched Annika Lucas' four-part series quite a few years back now. And I just remember listening to, and she speaks so well, and just hearing all the detail as well, which, it is crazy because you just think, and Max as well has shared, and Rachel, they have all shared, Jeanette, just so many things that seem out of this world, but they're
Mhm.
actually going on. Because, and when you hear these stories from different places from all over the planet, like no one gets anything out of sharing this stuff. Like it is gut wrenching, and it's something that I'm really passionate about because it's going on. And so when we hear from these people and we learn about it, it is a big sort of slap in the face to a lot of people for sure. But
Mhm.
like Max has said, like, and all the others, like you can't ignore it. Like you wouldn't ignore something that's going on the side of the road. So you can't ignore it here. And yeah, it's a big pill to swallow. Um,
Mhm.
but it's also up to us to do what we can to make a difference too.
Completely, completely. And we all definitely play a part in all of it because we're here co-creating our reality together. And as much as I'd like to think that I'm very much separate from like the really horrible people out there, that's not the case. We're all connected in one way or another. We literally, this is happening, this is manifested, and here we are. You're here, I'm here, they're here. You know? Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And that's the thing. Yeah,
Hmm.
sorry. I think there's a
No,
lag. You go.
that's all. All I wanted to say was wow. Yeah.
Yeah, wow is the word, isn't it? But yeah, I think when you tap into the empowerment of it and use it as a tool to, okay, I'm awakening, I'm stretching, I'm seeing more than what I have before, and really come back to yourself and see how you can make a difference, because you can't, like, trying to change out there before you do the work within is like trying to get the mirror to lift up its hand when you're the person looking in it. Like the reflection can't do it, only you can. So you have to look at what you can do and the work you can do within, and how you can show up and what difference you can make. And that's why the podcast was called Rock the Ripple, because all of us are continually creating ripple effects every time. Like it's our vibration, it's who we are. And so when we go to the supermarket and we say good day to someone and we make an effort just to make them smile or whatever it might be, that shit ripples out, and you don't know what that effect will have throughout the whole cosmos. So I think those little things are actually bigger than people can even imagine, and I always come back to that because I know, I feel and know that deeply. So yeah.
So amazing. What is some of the inner work that you're a fan of or you do yourself? I mean, I know you do lots of things, but if you could elaborate on some of those things, I think it would give people a bigger picture. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, for me, I've tried so many different healing modalities, and I can say that some have been really amazing and some not as great, but they've all helped and, done what they've needed to at the time. I've done quantum healing hypnosis technique, and that's been incredible. That's quite a few years ago now. I think I've done it 3 or 4 times. The inner work that I do on a daily basis is working with my frequency shift activation, which is, as you would know, of course, it's reprogramming our subconscious mind for our version of success. So I've told this story quite a few times, but I'll share it again. I was hitting so many brick walls with the work that I was doing, and I was like, why am I hitting these brick walls? What? I'll get to a certain point, but get a bit of success, and then it would just like sabotage, or it would just like I wouldn't go any further. It was like this invisible brick wall. And I came back to that's when I came back to the power of our subconscious mind and really realized like I needed to tap into that even more. And I had this meditation. After meditation one day, this frequency shift activation flew out of me. I was writing down everything I want to embody, what I want to let go of, what I want to feel, how I want to show up, what I want to bring to the table, my vision, all that sort of stuff. It just flew out. I think it was like 12 pages, really big scribbly writing, but fully just intuited and downloaded. And so that formed the frequency shift activation, which then I added to it later with the shift script, and then that formed the journal itself, the frequency shift journal. So everything sort of snowballed from there. And I know that work that I do on a daily basis has helped me really tap into myself and my abilities and all that sort of stuff. And in it's like anything, it's not the be all end all, but then what it's done is I've opened myself up to what it is that I'm wanting to embody and all that sort of stuff. And then someone might come along that can help me, like a chiropractor that also does NET and can help me release some stuff in a different way, or a somatic person that can help me do it in another way, but all the while still doing the frequency shift activation, which is really helped attract the right people in at the right time. And so doing that, and also a lot of deep inner work. I've worked with therapists, counselors, I've worked with healers, I've worked with homeopaths, and gosh, there's so many chiros, like I said before, NET. There's just so many different things that I've done to help.
What's NET? I mean, it stands for something.
Yeah, I can't remember what it stands for, to be honest. It would be neuro
What does it
something.
do? Oh, right. Oh, like it's a
Yeah,
neural, right. So it's a neural chiropractic kind of stuff. Like, so it's based with, well, neuroscience based, I'm assuming.
well, yeah, so you're putting on pressing on pressure points. So it's sort of a bit
Right.
like kinesiology, which I've done as well, and EFT, which I've done as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so well, EFT is more tapping, whereas this is like tapping on different parts of your body to release different things. So, like if anyone's ever had a kinesiology appointment and you've lied there and they've done the muscle testing, and next minute you're bawling your eyes out. So similar sort of thing. And I think that's really important to talk about too, is because our body holds and stores energy. And, as you know, energy is emotion is just energy in motion. So when we've got a lot of stuck energy within us, it needs to flow. So me doing this work and anyone doing this work is the idea is, well, let's get the energy flowing so our body's working better, so our brain's working better, so our etheric body's working better. We want that because then we're showing up in the best possible way that we can. So that's why, I mean, I love playing with all of this stuff. I'm such a curious person, so I'll always be doing it. But it's, yeah, so all that sort of stuff has definitely helped. So yeah, just keeping that energy flowing. Like that's what we're here to do. And then also just walking in nature and just taking the time to be outdoors and just remembering that we're having this human experience right now, and that, you know, it is the longest thing we'll do in this lifetime, but it's a fleeting experience in the infinite game of life that we're playing as well too. So yeah,
Wow.
I don't know where it's going, but hopefully that makes sense.
No, I mean, you've offered so much. I think it's like you covered so many different avenues and gave people so many different ideas as to where to go. You know, if you're someone who's like, okay, I want to take on a healing practice, well, there you go. There's the many you can choose from. And I always like to offer, I like to offer there's a list in your journal where you talk about the different practices, and I share it with my students in my courses because I find it's the one of the greatest really lists of different healing modalities, which all rewire our brain, which is something I'm passionate about, as you know, neuroplasticity, the way that we rewire, or our brain rewires itself based on novel experience. And all those things you just mentioned are on that list. And I find it absolutely fascinating. And yes, your journal is like incredible. It is definitely a, source on paper. Source, God, universe on paper, channeled through you. So I love that. Really, really
Oh,
love it. Yeah.
uh,
Wow.
thank
Well, and what else? It sounds like you're just flowing. What else would you like to share with us? What's your mission now? I know you've shifted gears a little bit and what it is that you're doing. If you'd like to talk about that, fill us in on what's happening in your world. What's your mission? What are you envisioning for the next little while? Yeah.
you. Yeah, well, thank you so much, Val, and for saying that about the journal too. I love it. I use it every day as well. It's so, it's not just keeping you on track because it's a planner as well. It's, you know, it's an undated thing, but you put everything in it. So that was the idea. Like, I just want one place to put everything, like my notes, my ideas, and all that sort of stuff. So, no, I really appreciate that. But yeah, so right now I've wrapped up the podcast after 101 episodes. I was feeling the pull, and I always follow my intuition with what I do, even if it doesn't make total sense. But I've got to follow it. So yeah, so that has just been such an incredible chapter, and now I'm sharing more content as I was before as well, but just sharing that in particular on YouTube and on my weekly newsletters, so people can, you know, just get whatever's happening in my brain that week, which sometimes isn't much and sometimes there might be a lot, so we'll see what happens each time. And I'm working with an amazing group of people at the moment. I'm with my quarterly program that I run, which is Time to Fly. And so I'm actually building that out even more. So it's something that people can join, but the live calls will be the official quarters. So that's something I'm really passionate about because I'm working with people, and it's not, it doesn't, so I've got people in there that are doing practicing to be numerologists, some that are doing really deep healing at the moment, some that are just creating space for themselves to allow for the flow of what's to come in. And that's been a real shift as well. I've got artists in there, and then people writing books, and people that have just launched their website. So everyone's got their own goals and vision, but we work together supporting each other using the frequency shift activation, using the journal, using the shift script, and just basically creating more of what it is that we want. So we're seeing people and cheering each other on, and seeing those goals and intentions. For the people who don't like the word goals, intentions as well, bringing those to life. So I'm really passionate about that because it's so much fun, and it's so beautiful being able to see people do that, but also be there to support people through some of the tough times. Like last year, it was quite big for quite a few of us in the group, and so it's just been amazing just to see the transformations and the shifts. So that I love, and I love people. I love seeing people light up, Val, where they're like doing the thing that they love, because I know that that's the shit that shifts consciousness. That's the stuff that changes the world, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, when people really come true to what it is that they're here to do, which I know is an evolving process anyway. Like sometimes,
yeah,
I started out as as a neuroscientist, and then boom, here we are now. So it's
yeah,
a process. I'm attuned to that, but it's really great to see people step into their true power, their authenticity, as we like to say, because that
mm.
is the stuff that actually alters consciousness. I'm just repeating what you're saying because it's exactly what I think too. And yeah, and I love the fact that you're doing it within a group setting, because there is power in one-to-one work, but there
Mm.
is a lot of power where there are many minds in fulfilling on an intention. It just gives it that much more energy, for the lack of a better word.
Yeah.
It really brings the intention, your intention, their intention, our collective intention, just so much more velocity and power. Yeah, it's really great. I love it.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's awesome. It's so good. It becomes like really potent absolutely. So been such a beautiful thing to watch and experience, and just see people just grow, and all of us level up together. It's such a beautiful thing, like you said. Now I'm repeating you, but yeah, it is awesome. And thank you for saying that too, because you reminded me. So I will be opening my calendar for some one-on-one readings in the future as well, but right now that's the focus, the group, and it will stay like that, because it's such a potent and powerful container. And I always trust that who's meant to be there will be for those live rounds, and it's exciting, because you just, yeah, you cheer people on, and that's awesome. And I think you and I both know, like from the podcasts that we listen to, whether it's been mine or other people's, like at the end of the day, people just want to see humanity thrive. They want to see people enjoying life and doing what they came here to do and be the full expression of themselves. So when you can be a part of that and you get to play your little part, like I'm playing my little part here, like it's such a beautiful thing. And like you do it with what you do, you're helping people shift their perspective, reprogram, rewire their subconscious mind, their neuroplasticity, so that they can make those shifts. And that's why I love what you do too, because it's expanding us, and it's making us realize, well, just because it's been this way for this long doesn't mean we can't change it. Like we're malleable, we can change it, we can make these shifts, and it might not take 5 seconds, but the decision does. And then once we make that decision, we can shift it, and some things can be we can do it just like that. But like we make the decision, like, right, I'm going to shift, I'm going to change, I'm going to do this, and that is where it happens. Like it's done. It happens in that now moment, and then yeah, game on.
So inspiring. So inspiring. And also that I'm so aligned with that vision. I know there are we all have different days where you wake up and you're like, oh, maybe that's not what's happening. But nonetheless, it's staying true to the vision, and collectively, but also doing your part day in, day out, whatever your mood or, situation is. I think, yeah, staying true to that vision. And I'm very inspired by what you said and what you're sharing and what you do, because it's part of the bigger vision, I think, for what we all want, as you said. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and one more thing I wanted to say was the collective space. It's the people in the group. The perfect people always find the group, whether it's your courses, my course, other courses, or courses that I've been in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, wow, we're really the group that's meant to be here. Isn't it like that? It's so magical. Somehow it's all like predestined, but always comes as a surprise, where it's always the people and the conversation that arises with this within the space. It's just like mind blowing. I'm just thinking about also the last course that I led. It was every person. We were just like feeding off each other. It was just incredible. But it's that vibe. It's that vibe where the perfect group of individuals come together.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, totally. I totally echo you on that. Relate to that. It's awesome, and yeah, I think predestined as well. Like you attract the people that are supposed to be there, and it really is a beautiful thing. Like there's no words for it, is it? Like it's an energy, and you feel it in the group, and you just know, and everyone feels it too, which is really special.
Mhm. So good. All right. Well, I think we've covered some ground. So let's wrap it up for this one. I'll definitely have you back on the show whenever you want. But I try to keep these under an hour for the listeners. It's my kind of style. You know, I have a lot of five energy. I like to move fast. So,
I'm with you on
so
that.
yeah, if you're into numerology, you'll get what I mean. Five is the energy of freedom, movement. I think I've already mentioned five energy twice on my in the 3 episodes of my podcast. So there you go. But where can people find you? How can they connect with you? Whether if they want to just find you and connect with you and work with you and all of the above.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, if they go to my website, which is nereedamckinnes.com, it's spelled NEREEDAMCINNES.com. But on there, you'll find a link through to the Frequency Shift app, which is a free app for people to use to start reprogramming their subconscious mind. So they can do that from the get go. On there, I'll also have the link to Time to Fly and the readings when they're ready to rock, and just all that sort of stuff. And you can join the newsletter there too. So that's probably the best way to stay in touch. So you'll just get that anything that's brand new or whatever I'm talking about at the time will come through that weekly newsletter on a Sunday night, Monday morning, depending on where you are in the world. So yeah, definitely sign up to that. It would be great to keep in touch there.
So good. And I love receiving your newsletters because they're not like other newsletters where it's just like spam. It's actually you talking to me. That's my experience of it. You know, so it's very personalized. And I back what you say. Sign up to the newsletter. Okay. Thank you so much for being on here, for sharing yourself, and for going through all the technical stuff. I can't even say it because it was so shit. But going through that at the start to get to this, hey, it was
Oh,
all
I'm
worth
with you,
it.
Bill.
Yeah, thank you so
With
much. And yeah,
Oh, sorry, mate. I'm seeing now I'm talking over you. There's a lag. So, no, thank you so much for having me on. It was fun setting this up, the technical stuff. You're an absolute champion, and it's such an honor to be on here. So, thank you for having me, Val.
you're so welcome. And to all our listeners, thanks for listening to this and seeing yourself in this. I'll pop all Nereeda's details in the show notes, of course, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.